Hello, welcome to Talk to WCTV. My name is Karen Kirk and I'm the General Manager here at Wilmington Community Television. Talk to WCTV is a bi-weekly program, or every other week, and every other week we put on a live show about access cable television. Talk to WCTV is an idea that I came up with so that you, the viewers at home, can hear about access television and hear about the courses that we teach, hear about the different training and upcoming programs. Tonight we have a guest who is involved in access cable television, and the name of my guest is Brian Moriarty. And Brian is the new production assistant technician at Wilmington Community Television. Thank you very much for coming on.
Good evening.
This is Brian's third day of work, and we roped him into being my guest on Talk to WCTV.
I'm happy to be here.
Happy to get roped in. One of the many reasons that we hired you as our production assistant was that we were very impressed with your extensive knowledge of video production, the technical aspect the most. Some of the questions that I ask you tonight you might remember from the interview. What is the most fun part of video production for you? You've been in video production for a number of years. What do you think is the most fulfilling for you?
Just getting out there and doing it. I like being able to go into a situation and try to deal with whatever elements you have to deal with to pull off a good show. Get the lighting straight, make sure you have the correct power requirements, different things that you need. Just getting out there and doing it is a lot of fun.
And you're quite active during the school year too. What is your involvement during the school year?
During the school year, I work in a production house in Boston, and we're contracted out by different clients and produce videos, professional videos for them. So I started here during the summer, and I'll be continuing on during the school year also.
Now Brian's job is going to be helping out at the studio in the evenings and also on Saturdays starting next week. Tonight is July 3rd, and he'll have worked this Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and his first full week will be next week. One of the reasons that we asked Brian to work on Saturdays is because many of you viewers were hoping to have a basic access class on Saturdays. Have you thought much about how you're going to plan this course on Saturdays?
I'd like to start with an orientation, get people familiar with the equipment, the different types of things that you can do with this facility, and different types of things that you can do with video in general, and maybe conduct it in several different seminars. The Saturday's good because a lot of people are tired during the week and don't always have all the time that they need to do things during the week, so the Saturday will be good for people in the community to come in and really get their hands on some of the equipment.
Now, one of the things that we gave Brian the leeway with is whether he would like his 4 hours on Saturdays to be in the mornings or in the afternoons. Have you hammered down what's best for you?
We'll probably start out in the morning, depending on our response and where people are best suited to come in for themselves. We'll probably try to plan around it that way and work our schedules together, whatever's best.
And what have you been doing in the past 3 days? Well, 2.5. You just got here an hour ago, so what have you...
I've been going around the studio, finding out, checking out the equipment myself, because a lot of this equipment is new to me too, and trying to plan out the way that I'm going to be trying to run the courses for the people in the community to come in. Trying to get a little bit of background on the station itself and the way things are run, etc.
It's a very casual studio, as you can see. We like to have fun with the equipment. We strive for perfection, and we don't always achieve it, but we do our best. All the people here behind the cameras directing tonight are all volunteers, so we encourage participation, we encourage fun. Perfection is a nicety, but we strive more for fun than anything else.
The important thing is that the people who come in and run run the place are not Karen and myself. Well, we oversee it, but the station is run by the community, and that's the way we'd like to keep it going.
Mm-hmm. You say that a lot of this equipment is new to you.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to the viewers at home about some of the equipment that we have that you think is a lot of fun that the people would get a big kick out of using.
The camcorders are that we're using for field production are a lot of. We should have had one on stage.
No props tonight.
Those are very versatile. You can bring them out. I'm sure a lot of people have camcorders at home, and you know what fun they can be, and things you can do with them, things you can't do with them. They're good in that you don't have to be lugging around a lot of equipment. They're very compact, so they're very versatile. A lot of stuff you can do with them.
And are you going to include editing in your course on Saturdays?
Yes, I will. We'll probably start out with some basics, maybe some lighting, for instance, some technical requirements that you need for a successful production, and then move on to the cameras, editing, post-production, etc. We'll probably break it up into 3 parts: pre-production, the production itself, and then post-production editing. And try to work within those 3 categories.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you setting goals for yourself over the next few months? Something that you'd like to see happen at WCTV?
I'd like to see. I'd like to bring more people in, some more new faces.
Well, everybody's a new face to you right now.
That's true. Just get some more people in the studio because it's a lot of fun. You can do a lot of things in here, produce your own shows. If you've got an idea or something that you want to bring out on TV, let other people know about, this is a great medium to do it.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of the viewers at home are regular watchers of Talk to WCTV, and a lot of the viewers tonight are WCTV board members who are seeing Brian for the very first time. Say hello, Brian. Is there something, you haven't met the board yet because we'll be meeting with the board next week. Mm-hmm. Is there have you thought about how you want to work with the board?
I'd definitely like to get together for a meeting, discuss what the board would like my role to be a little bit more, and how we can work together to fulfill each other's goals.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the questions that won Brian the position as the production assistant technician was when I asked him if there was a production going on in here, if a couple of people were editing, and everything was going very smoothly. Now, as in his role, how would he spend his time? And you have some ideas how you'd spend your time if everything was going fine?
Yeah, a lot of the equipment we have here is pretty sophisticated. We want to make sure that everything is good working order. So we have to develop maintenance schedules for all the equipment, make sure that everything is working properly. Also, it's important to make sure people are understanding the things that they're working on. So if there's any questions that people have while they're in here, I'm going to be in here during nights and on Saturdays to answer anybody's questions that they might have, apart from just working with the equipment myself.
Mm-hmm. And so you're still learning the equipment as you go along.
Mm-hmm. Little by little.
What were you most familiar with in your position during the school year? What type of equipment are you most familiar with?
The equipment that we work with during the school year is broadcast quality, high-end equipment that we're using. Believe it or not, this might surprise a lot of people, Beta is the standard that everybody, that the industry is using right now, which might surprise a lot of people because everything's VHS in the consumer market now. But
Because how many years ago was the big...
the big beta VHS war fought.
About 10, was it 10 years ago or so?
Something along those lines. But it's a different grade of beta. It's an industrial standard, as opposed to like the Beta Max that people were using in their homes a few years ago. That's the type of equipment that we're using. The equipment that we're using here is not all that much different. In principle, we're doing the same things. You need to know the same techniques from one format to another. It's just a different grade of equipment that you're using.
Mm-hmm. Now, come the school year, you'll be coming in around 6 o'clock in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
What are your goals for the school year once the kids get back in school? Are you going to see if you can get the kids involved?
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. The more the children get involved, when they grow up, they're going to come in here more. I think it's good to have this. It could be part of the school community as well. If there are student organizations that have some opinions or some things that they'd like the community to know about, or like I said before, this is a great medium to do it.
Mm-hmm. And we're also hoping to get the senior citizens involved. So if some of the viewers at home right now are senior citizens or members of the youth community, and you'd like to learn more about WCTV, we do offer free tours. And my hours right now are 10 to 6, and Brian's hours are around 5 to 8. So there's plenty of leeway around your schedule if you would be interested in coming down and looking at the studio or some of the equipment that
Mm-hmm.
Brian's been describing.
Saturdays too.
And Saturdays, of course. It's probably best to call right now because your schedule is sort of up in the air until you start hammering down when on Saturdays you'll be coming in.
Right. That'll also depend a lot on the response that we get. We'd like to encourage people to come by the station and call up and let us know what times you can come in. There'll be a sign-up sheet for people who, to come in.
For
training, if people would like to come in and actually be trained on the equipment and become a member of the station.
The Saturday class that you'd be teaching is full to the brim. And we're teaching a July and August preteen class, and those both are full too. So, and also, I'd like to ask the basic access class graduates that we are going to be having an advanced access class. And in my syllabus for the advanced class is people will be pairing up and producing a show from pre-production to post-production. Tell the viewers a little bit more about what pre-production means. Does that mean just putting paper and pencil together?
The pre-production planning is very important in that when you get into the situation where you're actually shooting, you want to make sure that everything's going as smoothly as possible. So if you get to a site for a location, for example, and you realize that you're going to need to be plugging in a lot of lights, and you don't have the power supply for it, you're going to end up blowing fuses left and right, and that's going to cause hassles when you're actually trying to shoot. So it's good to scout the area that you're going to be shooting in. Make sure you have the power that you need, what type of area that you're going to be shooting in. If you're going to be shooting near windows, you're going to be needing to do some color correction for the windows. Your lighting scheme, where the camera's going to be. The more you know about the location that you're going to be shooting in, the easier things are going to be going. Also, contacting people that are going to be involved in the shoot, making sure everybody's going to be there on time, contacting the people who own the facility that you're going to be shooting in or the place. To make sure you don't get kicked out of there in the last minute.
Making sure that you're supposed to be there, or that they know you're going to be there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you're shooting on somebody's property and they don't know about it, getting kicked off their property could be could hamper your shoot.
So the pre-production not only involves checking out your equipment and seeing if you have enough power, but also working with the people to see if their roles are correct, they know what time to be there, they know what their job is. How long does it take to do pre-production for a show?
It varies, the scale of the show that you're going to be producing, and et cetera. You know, each case is isolated. You should definitely, you know, get in contact with the people that you're going to be involved with a couple of days before, or as soon as possible. As soon as you know, the better. That way, everybody's got their instructions nailed down beforehand. It's good to meet. It's good to meet with your staff and your crew and everybody.
Now, as part of my advanced class, we're also going to be not only doing the pre-production but also the production. Many editors, the volunteers here, are sick of me saying, "You always become a better videographer once you've edited." What does that mean to you?
That means you have to shoot for your edit, because the initial rushes that you're laying down are not going to be the finished piece. So you have to have an idea of what they're going to look like in the edited context. If you don't hold your shots long enough, sometimes you'll be just trying to grab quick shots of a lot of different things, and if the camera's moving around too much, you won't be able to use the shot. So if you lock down in a shot, if you're trying to get a still of something, it's good to lock down the camera for a good 30 seconds. You're never going to use the whole 30 seconds, but if you need to go back to it, you need to have that much time, you're there. If you're producing a show or a spot that's going to be, say, 2 minutes long, and you need, you only have a certain amount of shots, you want to make sure that each shot is long enough to fill in those particular gaps and inserts and whatnot.
And, you know, as an editor, you're thinking, gee, I wish I had a nice long shot for credits, or for an open, or for some cutaway. You always, as you're videotaping, once you've edited before, you're videotaping with this in mind. I have to edit this. No one else has to edit this. I have to edit this, so I better videotape for 30 seconds or for 2 minutes.
Right. When you're initially taking the shot, you may not be thinking, I'm never going to use this much of this background or this tree. But you never know what you're going to be doing with it in the edit, unless of course you have that all pre-planned out from your pre-production planning. So everything goes back and falls on it. It's like algebra.
You're always going to use it. You're always going to use it. So you do believe in that you will become a better videographer once you've edited.
Once you've edited. So, you definitely compound on the knowledge that you've gained from each step of the way.
I mean, I constantly say, I mean, VHS tape is $4 or $5. Why don't you just use the entire tape? Even if your finished program is only going to be 5 minutes long, use the full 2-hour tape. It's only a $4 investment, and you can cut out what you want to cut out.
Right. It takes a long time. It takes more than unless you have the camera on constantly. It's going to take you a long time to fill up a 2-hour tape. So why not just do it?
Right.
You're never going to run out of tape. And if you do, there's always another one.
What was the most successful program that you've produced personally?
Something that I've produced personally. We've done, at the house that I was working in, the production house, we've done videos for the Digital Corporation and various other corporate clients. All of which were very successful. Made lots of money, because this isn't a corporate environment and not an access environment. We've done shows mostly centering around training films and the like. Also, promotions and the like.
How is Access different from corporate?
Access is different in that in a corporate setting you have your client is coming in, you have a client, the client's paying you, you're under a great deal of pressure to meet the client's needs within a strict budget. If you go over the budget, you have to ask the client for more money, the client's not happy. And there's a lot of pressure on you to get things done correctly in the right time. And you don't have freedom. You don't have the freedom of what your program is going to be about. Somebody comes to you, they say, I want a program about this, I want it to be this long, I want it done in this amount of time, and I want it to cost this much money. And you have all those parameters that you have to work in. Access, you're free to produce whatever type of show that's legally allowed to be on the air. So there's a whole wide range of things, topics that you can cover. You know, your own personal show that you think you need something that you want expressed, you need something you want to tell people about, or you want to entertain people in a certain way. Access is here for you to be doing that with.
I'm just such a strong advocate of Access Cable Television that you can do any show you want if you are a juggler. You could do a half-hour juggling show each and every month for 5 years if you felt that it was necessary. You could do a children's reading program where the student writes a story and the student can read it on the air. It's limitless, and I could go on and on forever because I'm such an advocate of Access Cable Television. Access is, for those of you who are watching and aren't sure what access means in order to be such a strong advocate as I am, what access means is that once trained, you, Tom Kilburn, Carrie Coletti, Blethen Williams, that's the crew tonight, they all have access to this equipment. They can, once trained, they can use the editing suite. They can use the camcorders and tripods, studio cameras, directing like Blethen's doing. They have access to all this equipment and can produce any type of show that they want. If Blethen feels that he wants to do a show on the Welsh community, he can do that. It's a wonderful opportunity for anyone to do a show on anything they want. If Tom Kilburn wanted to do a soccer skills program for Wilmington Youth Soccer, Dunk Tank tonight and every night this week, it's a wonderful opportunity, and I just could go on, but I'm wasting time talking about how wonderful access is. So get involved. If you have even just an inkling that you want to come down and see what all this stuff is all about that Karen's so excited about, come down and see if I'm just blowing hot air or if it really is fun.
The equipment's here for the community to use, and it's a lot of fun.
It is. It's easy to use, and if you're not quite sure on how to use it, you and I are here.
I'm both here to assist people in using it and getting everybody out there and doing their thing.
Brian, I must say, is extremely talented in technical training, and one of the questions I asked him during the interview was to see how well he can speak to people in a training situation. And although he knows equipment upside down, left and right, he can also translate it very simply, so that if you're not quite sure in getting into technical equipment, Brian is very talented in putting it into layman's terms. I think that's one of your talents and skills.
Thank you.
You're blushing. No, but it's true. You can take a complex idea and make it very simple that either the youth or the older people or anyone in between could very easily understand.
There's no need to be afraid of the equipment. It's like everything else, it takes a little bit of practice to get used to and running things. But once you're past like that initial training stage, you can just start relaxing and having fun with the equipment, and start using it for your own purposes for any type of show you want to produce.
Now, Carrie, right behind this camera right here, Carrie has not had any formal training at WCTV, but this is probably his 5th or 6th show that he's been helping out on. And Carrie, in fact, is signed up for Brian's Saturday class, so they'll talk right after this show. So, I mean, if Carrie can do it, anyone can do it. I love you, Carrie, though. We're going to wrap up tonight's show. Talk to WCTV is made possible by a grant by AAA Cartel Cleaning Company. I wish a very big welcome to Brian Moriarty, and I wish that everyone have a very safe July 4th. And as my father says, if you want to be alive on the 5th, don't... Wait a minute. If you want to be alive on the 6th, don't drink a 5th on the 4th. How do you like that, huh? Okay. Thanks a lot for watching Talk to WCTV. Have a very safe holiday, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Cheers.